Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Roller Coaster Rider, and subscribe to me, and I'll subscribe back. Together, let's both get to 1,000. Anyway, um, this today on the Hollywood Tours Film Festival, I'm going to review Sinbad Beyond the Veil of the Mists. This is a bad movie. I think that says it all. What? I, I should do more? Okay. As with previous bad animated movies I've reviewed, like Trollland and. Okay, that's about it. But this movie is just like Trollland in that it uses dang motion capture. If you've seen stuff like Mars Needs Moms or even Polar Express or stuff, then you'll know what I'm talking about when it comes to stop motion. Or even there's apparently some Tarzan 3D movie e- that Erod, the Blockbuster Buster, reviewed where a lot of the animation it's supposed to look like this, but instead it looks more like this. Hello, how are you doing? You are good. Things are great. I've seen a lot of animated movies that a lot of critics hate, like Norm of the North and I need to write these better. Even Nut Job. And both of those are better than this movie. This movie, it's kind of the thing that you've seen 100 times before. It's the thing where two people swap, the good guy and the bad guy swap places, and so the princess has to go with a good guy, and he has to go to a certain area. It's essentially a fetch. It's essentially a journey movie, and then they go back and try to save the day. You've seen the story. You've seen the story a bunch before, probably about 100 to 200 times, and it's not any better. It's kind of more boring, and what makes it boring is the animation is so poor. I seriously thought at the beginning, did they just get like a bunch of Barbie figures and just have them like just go blah 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 blah? Kind of like what you did with Barbies or GI Joes back in the day. Or and when I was talking about how, like, watch, when the horse doesn't match with the lips, I originally thought that this was like a foreign film. It kind of is because it's made in India, but as far as I can tell, according to Wikipedia and IMDb, and even Rotten Tomatoes, there's no Indian version. But I could have sworn that this was like some early '90s. Well, honestly, I thought it was like Italian or French, an Italian or French animated movie that they just got a few actors like Brendan Fraser and Mark Hamill and Leonard Nimoy, which don't bother because Brendan Fraser, you can get his same performance in The Mummy. Leonard Nimoy, I didn't even recognize was him, and Mark Hamill, I don't even remember his character. John Rhys Davies is also in this, playing a king. There you go. The studio puts their influences on their sleeve with the king, which looks extremely similar to. What did he look like? He looked like a combination between the evil Santa Claus in the Santa Claus 2 and Tr- King Triton from Little Mermaid. Also, the princess in this movie looks very similar to Jasmine. You could even argue that what was it? That Sinbad even kinda was inspired by Aladdin. Um this movie is also weird because there's parts where you think there's gonna be a song and then there's no song. And the main character, or one of the characters, once they get to the Veil of the Mists, And just with the previous film, this movie also has a giant tarantula, so I could have knocked two birds out with one stone and have only seen one bad movie, but no, I had to see this movie too. Um, let's see, what else? Um, when they do get to the Veil of the Mists, which is like it's kind of something that you've seen in like Ice Age 5 or it's just this unique world that they explore and visit where the guy who's talking, he sounds like he has to go to the bathroom because he sounds like he's talking like this when he's describing stuff. um I don't even really know what else to tell you. The animation is terrible. Uh there's a lot of plot holes and continuity errors. There's scenes. There's a scene where the they heal the princess by with that has like a cut on her arm. And I was talking to Kay and I was like, Kay, did you even notice that she was cut? And she was like, no. And this was like 10 minutes later. This movie is just kind of dumb. It doesn't make any sense. It's not that good. Um, and people I've seen, bad movies that I've told you like, hey, go ahead, check it out. I've told you to see Gus. I've told you to see um what else have I seen? I've told you to see Ladybugs. I've told you to see Slappy and the Stinkers. And I was almost 99% sure that this movie was released direct to DVD. It shocks me that this apparently got a theatrical release, granted in only like 3 cities, but that's about 4 cities too many. This movie was horrible. And according to IMDb, the budget was $30 million. How did this movie cost 30 million? This movie doesn't look like it costed 10 million. I have to assume that a majority of that money went into stop motion, because they actually had they didn't have the actors or the voice actors do the stop motion. They hired actors to do stop motion, and then they hired different actors to do the dubbing. It's like, what the heck? And apparently, I don't really trust Rotten Tomatoes all that much, but this has a 42% audience. I have to imagine in 2000 there were better movies. You should Toy Story was better than this. Slappy and the Stinkers was better than this. Ladybugs was better than this. Gauss was better than this. I honestly don't know what to tell you. If you want to see this movie, don't. I have to imagine there's better Sinbad movies. And I don't know, just if you have to see it, just go to the point where they're at the mist and you'll avoid some of the really odd parts such as giant octopuses, a weird bat bird, and other weird things. So yeah, I'm looking at the list. Um Join us next time when we take a look at a horror movie which I'm hoping will be a little bit better. Bye.